Do this for 5 minutes a day, and you'll skip the needle another 5 years. I thought this was actually a nice result. Here, take a peek. Now, it's nothing crazy, but it's a nice, more refreshed look. Check the lifting of the eye area. By the way, keep sending us your pictures. We love it, and it's great to have your before and afters, albeit sometimes I get your pictures and the lighting is a bit off or at a little bit of a different angle, but they still really help to get them. I love seeing the results that we're getting. I know it's really hard to take the same before and after pictures, but keep sending them in. But hooded eyes are an aging feature for women especially, and the reason is men, we can kind of take a little lower set eye. If you notice, we have a little more frontal bossing. What that means is the bone here is a little more built up in utero at birth, and the man just has more low set eye. A woman, however, she wants a little more lifted at the edge. In fact, I had one of you comment the other day, Dr. Rajani, get a lateral brow lift. You look angry. And that can happen if the brow moves too far down. You tell me on myself, but one of you commented that. But for a woman especially, you want the high lateral lift. But it's also the hooding of the eyes. A lot of people find that's an aging feature. So what I'm referring to is the little extra redundant skin kind of above the eye in that region there. Now you can see here, one eye has hooding. Can you pick out which one it is? One does not. The brows are the same. There's no brow lift. This is just removal of the skin. And you can see the one that has excess skin is a little more sultry looking, but the other one, the one without the excess skin, the patient looks more vibrant, more rested. That's generally what people want to see. But if you look at that picture I showed you, I think there's a nice result, not only lifting the brow itself, but also in helping with that hooding. Interesting though, I do have some patients that come in. I remember a patient about 15 years ago, and she was on camera a lot. She wanted the lower set brows because she said it was a lower kind of a sultry look for her. So remember, looking at each individual face is key, and I'm making generalizations. Some of you don't mind a bit of a lower brow, but in general, we want lift. So this is my 2-step routine to lift the eyes using your own muscles, the muscles that are already in your face. No toxins, no fillers. And then I'll show you the one step everyone forgets that makes all of the difference. Step 1. So the muscle right here in the forehead is the frontalis, and we want to use resistance training to build the muscle. I did say build the muscle because this muscle lifts your eyes up. So we're going to train that one muscle. We don't want to stop the movement like Botox because that slows the movement down. And if you've had Botox in the forehead before, you'll say, it kind of lowered me, or I had more hooding when I looked 3 or 4 weeks later. And this part is key. I'm not just moving the muscle, we're creating resistance for the muscle. Think of that. Because just like weight training at the gym, we want to trigger hypertrophy, and that gives muscle growth. And what does that do for the forehead? Because so many of you tell me, Rajani, my forehead is thinning and I look older because as estrogen goes down, I lose volume here. So the muscle, that frontalis muscle, creates volume. Volume is smooth and lift. A simple way to think of it, when the muscle grows, the skin around it gets tighter, and that's partly what gives you that lift. Here's what you do. Take your hands, and you can do one hand or two hand, but take your hands here. That's the idea. Put them across the forehead like this, and then you're going to lift your eyes. You're going to try and lift your eyes. You're lifting against resistance that your hand created. Why are we doing that? Well, it's because I don't want you to actually lift, because that's going to wrinkle and crinkle and create lines. That's where exercises of the face go wrong. Remember, holding the muscle so you can't move it and then moving against resistance. Now, you're not pushing in super tight. You want to just, because, okay, the first layer is your skin, then you're going to get to your subcutaneous fat, and then you're going to get to your muscle. You want to stop the skin from moving, okay, but allowing the muscle to contract. So the skin is draping, if you will, the muscle. We're moving the muscle, not the skin. That allows us to work the muscle, but not wrinkle the skin. Okay, so that is the motion I want you to practice. Now, this is key. When you do that, you're going to hold it up for 5 seconds. So you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put the Mississippis in there so it spreads it out. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Comment below if you have a better way. But it's just, you're holding it for 5 seconds and you're doing 3 sets of those. And because you're holding that brow in place, remember, you're not wrinkling. That's the real Botox alternative, toning without creasing. Whereas Botox does one of those, it helps stop the creasing, but it doesn't tone. It atrophies or shrinks. See that? That's the key here. But let's go to step 2. Gua Sha. Gua Sha is going to release it all, because here's a step that 99% of people skip. We just activated the muscle, but now we're going to release it. Every trainer will tell you, never skip the stretch after a workout. The same applies to your face. Remember, never skip a stretch after a workout. Now, this is where the Gua Sha comes in. So it was invented for fascial release. That's the fact. Many people will tell you it was invented for lymphatic drainage, but that's a positive side effect. It wasn't why it was created. It was, in the Western world, we say lymphatic drainage. When I learn it in China and Southeast Asia, it's for fascial release. And I have a complete course on the release points if you're interested in that at store.rajanemd.com, and just go to education. I got a ton of free stuff there. But for our purposes today, it's to calm the overworked muscle. Now with Gua Sha, if you've just put on a nice cream, you sometimes don't need an oil, but I like using a nice facial oil or serum with a slip first. Something light. I have my Hydroglow oil, which is built for that. It's a combination of oils. You might have safflower or sunflower at home. That works great too. So you want to take your Gua Sha tool. Mine has, I hold it in, I have vibration. You can hear that. And then mode 2 is vibration and red light. I'll turn the vibration off because that sound might drive you crazy. And in mode 3 here, I'll leave the red light on. But your Gua Sha tool, look at what side you have. I developed this particular side to have the red light and vibration if you want it. Vibration to stimulate the bone. The red light helps boost your mitochondria, so your energy production of the cell. Most of you know about red light and its uses now. But what you want to do is you want to take that edge. This is perfectly to fit foreheads, and it comes here. You want the edge of your Gua Sha tool here right at the lateral orbital rim. That's what is the opening in the skull for the eye. And it's just upward motions. And it's 5 strokes, okay? Pretty easy to do. And it's straight up from the side. And if you do that 5 times each side, if you have the time, you go from one side, go to the other, then come back and do another 5. Okay, that allows that muscle to release. And that's your lateral brow lift. And you can angle it the way you want, but the temple is important. And then moving it up right to the hairline. Remember, the frontalis muscle comes up higher than most of your hairlines. Depends on your hairline. For guys, sometimes we recede. Of course, some women after estrogen loss or over time will say they have a receding hairline. And if you've had a facelift or surgery up there, you don't want to reveal that scar. So watch my videos on how to keep your hair at the hairline specifically. But that's the Gua Sha part. And remember, I did say the temple, and it's important because the lateral lift is feminine. It's why we often put biostimulators also in the temple to get that lateral lift for that wide open round eye that females have, as opposed to the low set, narrower eye of a male. What you're doing is clearing stagnation here. You're moving fluid. You're telling the nervous system to release. That helps not only with tension, but also soften the frown lines in the middle of the brow, and that gives that crunch down look we don't want. LED and red light, of course, take it to the next level with vibration, but whatever Gua Sha tool you have, they're inexpensive, get one. Now, here's what you just did. You trained your frontalis, the muscle responsible for lifting the upper face, then you released it, you reset it, and you boosted your circulation. And if you used vibration, there's nice evidence to show that it improves your osteoblast function. Osteoblasts build bone. You also increased muscle mass, aka volume, in the forehead, and increased blood flow in that tiny fat layer in the forehead, because there's literally no fat in the forehead. The little bit you have, you want to keep. And of course, recall that fat produces estrogen. Estrogen is youth, so keep all the fat you can, especially that precious forehead. And if vibration drives you crazy, just make sure you have a device where you can turn off the vibration. There's about 4 or 5% of people that don't like the feeling of vibration on the bone, but vibration's wonderful. This is what Botox does not give you. Mobility. I have full movement of my forehead, muscle tone, and actual lift. Freeze your forehead and it droops. Even injectors miss that nuance. Not you. 5 minutes a day, 5 years off your face, and a nice lift. Now, if you want a deeper dive, just take my free course. I'll link it in the more info section below this video and pin it to the top of the comments, because it's free and you can do a deep dive into these kind of natural things you can do at home. But you want to do this for 5 days straight and then come back to the comment section. Tell me what you see. And now, here is the video I promised you about the cream to help tighten the upper lids, with a ton of before and afters in science on that. Stay tuned here. Keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.